Sometimes when two things come together, it's the perfect combination. But sometimes it's not. And I think we're gonna find out whether that perfect combination is the perfect combination or not today. Today I have for you Jack and Coke from Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola. But is this the perfect mix? I haven't actually tried these yet, but I have been drinking Jack and Coke for the better part of 30 plus years. Does that make me an expert? Maybe, maybe not. But I never claimed to be. So if you got issue with that, cry on somebody else's shoulder. I don't care. So with this, we're gonna mix our own. And we're gonna compare that against this and a traditional bar mix. We'll see which one's better. I have a pretty good idea, but you know, it's worth a try. Okay, so first we're gonna give this one a try, and I'm gonna tell you what I think of it. Everybody's palate's going to be a little bit different. Everybody's level of whiskey enjoyment is a little different. So when I describe to you the level that I'm getting out of it, that may not be the same that you get. So to each their own. We'll just kind of see how that plays out, but take it with a grain of salt, because your mileage may vary. I'm just saying. So let's do this. We're going to start with the standard of what would normally be done at a bar, which is about 3/4 of a glass size to start with. And we'll see how well this mix comes out. Fucking cool can. I really kind of like these. So they're saying that these are 355 milliliters. Now, I don't know, is that a 12 ounce can? Looks a little bit shorter than a 12 ounce can, so whatever that is. And this is 7% alcohol, which doesn't have that much in it, but it's gonna be more than a beer, up in the range of, say, a craft beer, or maybe just a hair bit higher, something like that. So, I can definitely smell it in there. Now, these can be purchased anywhere from around $12 to $14, I think, depending on where you buy them, what state you live in, that kind of stuff. This I just got at Walmart, and it was like $12.76, I think. And then tax, and I don't know if there's can redemption on it, because Iowa has can redemption. So I don't know if that was actually on there or not, but we're gonna give it a pour and try. So, like I said, I can actually smell the Jack Daniels in the can, so that's a pretty good sign. Now, whether that's true when we taste it, I don't know. I can taste it, but it goes away pretty quick. Right now, I would call it somewhere around just less than what a bar pour is. And if you don't know what a bar pour is, I kind of looked it up, and it kind of varies actually. Anywhere from an ounce, ounce and a half, or 2 ounces of Jack Daniels to the remainder being Coke, or a 3 to 1 rate, or yeah, 3 to 1 ratio, 3 being the Coke. There was one that was in Australia, they do it as a 4 to 1 ratio. So again, your mileage may vary depending on the size of glass and the size of your pores, but I don't know. It's interesting. Not what I was really expecting. But it's different. So to make this fair, we're going to do two additional ones. This being the typical bar pour, and this one being the house pour, or my pour, which is, I'm sure, going to be considerably different than the bar pour and the premix. I like mine a little spicy. So to be fair, I'm also going to use my jigger to measure out. We're going to do an ounce and a half pour so that we come in somewhere between the two. And I know that these glasses are different sizes than this, but since this was already pre-mixed, we know that that one's not going to change. These are the two factor differences. I will try to put the same amount of ice approximately in each one just to kind of make it fair. So that way we can kind of have a shootout. So let's see how that works. I don't have a freezer up here, so I had to bring a baggie of ice with me. So let's go ahead and make up what would be our bar pour. And the house pour. Close enough. All right, so we'll start off with good old number 7. Let's see, that's 2. So if we do just a little bit, that's going to be about an ounce and a half. That ain't much. So then we'll fill the rest up. Coke. You got to give it a swirl. Now normally I like to see mine with a kind of a foamy head on it, knowing that I got the mix right, and there's not what I would call a foamy head on this. So how does this compare to what would typically be the bar pour? The bar pour is definitely a little sweeter, but you can definitely pick up the Jack Daniels as more of the flavor you would get from Jack Daniels instead of Maybe an artificial flavor. Maybe that's what we're getting in this. Not saying that it's not got alcohol in it or that it's not actually Jack Daniels in it, but this seems more of a flavor of whiskey than it does actual whiskey. This one, you get the actual kind of, not the whiskey hug, but I don't know. It's that, you know, that tingle, I guess you'd get from actually drinking whiskey. So probably should have brought up some water so I could clear my palate between the two, but very similar, very similar. This one, though, still feels more like a flavoring. It's got whiskey flavoring along with the alcohol in it. It's still kind of different. Maybe I'm getting some of the tin can flavor. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I mean aluminum can. Piss off if you don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So, getting kind of an artificial flavor in this. I'm getting definitely a bar pour in this. This is what I would typically get at the bar. And I'm wondering if these are, there's 4 in a box, and at 12, well, let's say $12.75, that'd put these at about $3 1/4 a piece, $3.25 each. If you go to the bar, these are usually anywhere from, depending on what bar you go to, small town bar, you can usually get them for $4. Higher end bars, you're probably going to be upwards of $8, $10, $12. So this is definitely a good buy, but I don't know how you would figure that, because I don't know. I ain't good at math. So kind of figure that one out for yourself, depending on how many you get out of this and this versus this. So we're going to go in, and now I'm going to, I want you guys to be able to see this. I'm going to do my house pour. And this is how I do my house pour. I am going to tell you, that's not a straight up 50-50. Although I do know people that do a 50-50 on it, and that's fine. Mine's more of a 35-65. 35-60. Yeah, that 35-65. It's a little strong, but that's the way I like it. So you do you. If you aren't up for that, then you just do you. This is how I like them. Let's give it a shot. That was a little heavier than normal, but that is the way I like them. And well, I gotta go back to this. I don't hate the flavor. I really don't. Going back to this, it's actually pretty good. I'm gonna borrow one. Bar one's actually pretty good too. They all kind of have a similar flavor. I wonder why. But, I mean, as far as strength-wise, I don't know. I don't think this is quite enough for what I would normally do. But I do think it has its place. Let's say you're going someplace where you can't take in a glass bottle. Perfect option. Tubing down the river. Perfect option. Someplace where you just can't have both a jug of Coke and a jug of Jack Daniels. These would be a really good option. They're a little on the expensive side for only getting 4, but I don't see that as necessarily a bad thing. So, yeah, I really kind of like that. I think it's definitely worth giving it a shot. If you're interested in it, pick it up. Tell me what you think. There's nothing saying that you can't add a little bit more if it's not up to your snuff. So, kind of go for it. You know, I don't see it as a bad thing. I think they did all right. Like I said, a little bit maybe artificial, but maybe I'm just being judgmental. So, yeah, I really don't have anything to say bad about it. I'm kind of, you know, with the artificial, but I don't think it's that bad. So, yeah, give it a shot. I think it's all right. Well, I hope this really kind of helped you determine whether or not you think the premixed Jack and Cokes are going to be good for you. Kind of give you an idea of the difference between what you're going to get in the can versus what you're going to get in the bar versus what you're going to get at home. And I think they're all pretty fair. Of course, you know, me being at home, I pour a little on the heavy side, but some people say I have a problem. The only problem I have is not having enough. But maybe that's the problem. I don't know. Nah, I don't know. I'm good. So, thank you for joining me. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions about anything that we've covered today, just let me know down in the comments and I'll see what I can do to help you with that. Also, please like, share, subscribe. I'm really trying to get this channel to grow. Thank you so much for all the views on the last video I did, the room reveal. I've had a lot of good comments about it. I had some questions on it, and in a future episode, we'll go over some of those questions. Hopefully that I have addressed those and gotten something going with it. So with all that said, I want to thank you again and tell you long ashes and full glasses, and we'll see you in the next video. My cigar went out. Maybe not quite fair to be smoking a cigar and trying these, but I don't know. Now I gotta drink all these goddamn things, and it's only 2:45. Holy shit, that's still pretty early in the afternoon. My wife is not gonna be happy with me. I promised her I'd make dinner. I'll be lucky if I can remember what I was making for dinner. I'll be lucky if I can make it downstairs. Hey, enjoy. Cheers. Wow.